What's up, comic box fans? Welcome to the debut episode of our new comic show, the Retro Comic Show. Title's a bit simple, but it says it all. The new series is dedicated to just older comic books, from as little as a few months ago to decades ago. So I'll be doing my personal favorites as well as the quote classics of the industry. The Comic Boss show is dedicated to new comics coming out weekly. This show is going to be able to give you a glimpse into the past, into the often wonderful and sometimes incredibly shitty world of comics. This week's episode deals with my all-time favorite comic. A bold statement to be sure, but one I am more than willing to make. This comic changed my whole perception of what comics were and what they could mean to me. Beforehand, all I used to do was look at comics basically for the art and then try to copy or take what I liked from the art style and incorporate it to my own. This one completely engrossed me with the story, the art. It was cinematic. It completely and utterly devoured me. And here it is. Batman: The Dark Knight Returns is an absolute triumph of graphic storytelling and my all-time favorite comic. Comics legend Frank Miller, the genius behind 300, Sin City, and Ronin, introduced the story of an aged Batman in a Gotham City on the verge of complete destruction in 1986. It is still considered by many to be his finest work. At the beginning of this tale, Bruce Wayne has given up the mantle of Batman for the better part of a decade. In his absence, Gotham has grown even more destitute and sinister. The death of the second Robin, Jason Todd, sent Batman into a deep depression, having him hang up the cape and cowl. Ironically, this comic was released before the famous Death in the Family storyline, in which Jason Todd was murdered by the Joker in regular continuity. Bruce Wayne has had to bury the Batman persona deep down inside himself and has developed a drinking problem to do so. He no longer bothers himself with the troubles of the world, instead choosing the sanctuary of Wayne Manor and the company of his greatly aged butler Alfred. Many of the old Batman villains are dead or locked away, but a new wave of criminal insanity in the form of the Mutant Gang has swept Gotham like a plague. Whereas many of the old villains had motivations and reasons for their crimes, the Mutant Gang kills at random. It is only with the apparent resurfacing of Two-Face, even though Harvey Dent was thought cured through psychiatric treatment and plastic surgery, that the Batman persona tears itself back to life. As Batman apprehends Two-Face, he realizes he can never go back to being just Bruce Wayne. This is who he is. It always has been. These issues are packed with iconic images of Batman that have been redone over the last 20 plus years by almost every artist to touch the character since Frank. It also touches on almost every cornerstone of the Batman universe, as well as set up ideas for Batman that have lasted to this day. The fight scenes in The Dark Knight Returns are not of an acrobatic young man, but of an old man with a hell of a lot of muscle who beats his enemies into submission. The bouts between the mutant leader and Batman are pretty bad, but the conflict between the Joker and Batman will have you appalled by its brutality. If that wasn't enough, Frank gave us the fight of the century, The Dark Knight versus the Man of Steel, in which the outcome you got to read to see. Frank incorporates new characters into the series, such as the female Carrie Kelly, who becomes the new Robin, as well as the Mutant Gang members seamlessly into the Batman universe. It appears as if they've always been there and always should have been. It's truly an achievement. This series, although it was set in the DC Elseworlds setting, brought Batman back to the origin of the character. It re-established all the things that made Batman popular to begin with and set the stage for Batman stories for the next 20 plus years. It's a story written so well that the Batman fan and the non-Batman fan alike can completely lose themselves in it. You can see the evolution of Frank Miller's art style here. It goes from classic comic book superhero style to the gritty, grim style that we know him for today in his works such as Rowan and Sin City. There is not a single wasted frame in this entire comic. Everything is used. It's awe-inspiring. Every time I go back and reread this thing, I find little things that I missed before. The word masterpiece is used far too often in comics. It's used just as badly as it is in the film industry. Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns is one of the few comics that deserves the title 100%. This was a game changer. It came out before Watchmen, and it really set the stage for comic storytelling for the next decade or so. I would talk more about the plot of this book, but to be honest, it just would not do it justice. This is a comic that you need to go out and read if you are even slightly interested in comics. Go out and buy it. If you can't buy it, go to the library. Yes, they have comics at the library. Go rent it. If you got any friends that are in the comics, ask them if they got it and borrow it. This comic is just that damn good. Well guys, thanks for watching. This is our first episode. More will follow soon. Maybe it would be somebody else besides me doing it. Maybe Chris, aka Monty Gardner, or JK, John Rambo, or maybe even that fat fuck the obese ninja. We all have older comics that we really can't wait to tell you about, but I figured I'd do the best one first. Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. The comic boss's #1 comic of all fucking time. See you later, guys. Bye.